Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are present. Thank you for joining us for this special webinar that we are conducting on the topic Leverage Google Maps API to enhance your customer experience and boost productivity. I am Mansoor from Lepton Software, and I once again take the opportunity to welcome all of you for this session. To give you a brief about how the session will pan out is the session will be for 30 minutes, where initially we will have the presentation on the topic of the day, and afterwards at the end of the presentation we will hold a Q&A session where you can put in all your questions and queries in the Q&A window that is present, and we will take them up once the presentation ends. Our presenter for the day is Mr. Varun Johar. Varun is working with Lepton as Business Development Head for Google Maps platform and solution. He has previously worked with top MNCs in India and has a varied experience among the various businesses. So now I would request Mr. Varun to take the session forward on the topic of the day. Mr. Varun.
Awesome. Thanks, Mansoor. Appreciate it. Okay. Hi, everyone. Afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. So I quickly want to set the agenda right. It's just okay. Yeah. Okay. So I quickly wanted to set the agenda. And this is the way we would be going forward. We will talk about a little bit about how location intelligence has been changing the world, and what Google and Lepton as a partnership has been doing to improvise on that data. How do we get it? Why Google Map platform? Definitely, and then we'll deep dive a little bit about the products that Maps platform would provide, and then what's the way forward. With that, I really wanted to get into the why location data matters more than ever now. Now, a lot of you would be aware that since 2005, the mission is to help navigate people and explore the world wherever they are. Right. So Google Map platform was launched in 2005, and it was launched as a web mapping product, and has evolved over the period of years to a suite of 18 plus APIs powering over 5 million sites and apps. Right. So, I mean, we've come a long way since 2005. And before we get into talking about our product, I would like to talk about why location data. Right. So, moving forward, I just want to say that the world is changing. Right. And the pace of the change is even getting faster. It's driven by internet, connected devices, cloud technologies. I mean, it's really getting cloudy. Right? We're going to rain data. Sorry, bad joke. Okay, so well, according to Forbes, 90% of the data in the world was created in the last 2 years, and the majority of the data in the world already has or will have location component. Now, this location component provide context, right, and connections between all that data that doesn't seem to otherwise be linked or has obvious relationship, driving business insights or values. On top of it, there has been a huge increase in the connected devices all across the industry. Today, if I tell you that there are over 23 billion IoT devices all across the world, and by 2025, the projection is that there would be 75 billion IoT devices. That's a tremendous increase of 52 billion devices, all with location. Just to put a context to it, that's an average of almost 6 internet connected devices for every person on the planet. You see how rich the data would actually go? Now, all of these connected devices will produce even more location data, like making location intelligence even more crucial, right? How? We'll see that. Now, location data provides the backbone and a real context for individual and businesses navigating the world around them, creating new values for enterprises. And I won't be wrong in saying that it actually helps enterprises in visualizing data, understanding context, analyzing it, and develop insights. So there are 3 core benefits of location data and what it provides to the enterprises. One, it definitely helps the enterprises build better customer experiences. Second, it actually optimizes the company's operations. Well, otherwise it can lead to a lot of heavy infrastructure, a lot of work, which includes a lot of money as well. And third, it enables strategic decision making by connecting insights that customer couldn't see before. I mean, think about it from a perspective how your user would feel if they are actually able to visualize and get a data which is already analyzed before. But the real question is, why Google Maps, right? So let's take a closer look at why Google Maps platform is the best location platform for your enterprise. Now, at Lepton and Google, our mission is simple. It's to assist people as they navigate and explore the world, wherever they are, right? The quality, accuracy, and freshness of our data is due to the growing investment in location technology. And that's for over past 13 years. And we are continuing to invest and explore new ways to connect people to the world. Now, here are three ways where we are investing like no one else, and to bring you to bring you the most accurate, real time, and comprehensive model of the real world. I mean, how the real world we see versus how the map sees. I still remember as a kid, drawing out the map. Map for me used to be like a map which was there on a wall of my teacher, or the political map that we used to get from the stationery shops, right? But the world has changed completely, right? And now the users want it. So here's how we are making the investments, right? Google has invested tens of millions of dollars of mapping the ever-changing world. And in addition to the unparalleled investment that Google Maps, they're actually investing heavily into other businesses such as Android Auto, Waymo, Waze. Now, just to give you a context again, the billion of Android devices and Waymo cars and car with Android Auto are continuously collecting high definition maps and real time traffic signals and road conditions, right? Which is actually used to improve the accuracy of the maps. That cool it has become. The next is people. Okay, yeah. The next is people, right? Google Maps has over 1 billion daily active users across the globe. And we have 60 million Google local guides who make millions of daily contributions to our places data. Google also has thousands of engineers across the world who develop algorithms to get our data into the right format and conflate it with other sources of data. And we also employ thousands of operators who hand message the data and add human intelligence to it, right? All these people, along with our leading at technology, drive over 25 million updates a day to the data. That's a lot. Trust me when I say that. Now, because of the ongoing investment and the, well, you would have guessed, obsession with the location data, Google Maps continues to get better and assist people even more as they navigate and explore the world, right? Now, quick recent features that has been added on Google Maps is it's actually to enable you to provide the customer with a better experience, right? And help them get things done in the real world, as well as improve the enterprise operational efficiencies. Which takes me to my first pointer. How can we get the better experience, right? By adding the new features, it actually helps provide better customer experience. But the question is how, right? So the visual improvement on the maps and the new map styles that come with upgraded color schemes, topographies to make it easier for user to focus and read, more user friendly, right? And it's like you drop a pin on a specific mark of a point of interest if you actually want to take a look at it. Wow. And then it's actually presented in more languages now. I remember in March, the last update that I saw, They added over 40 new languages, which is spoken by estimated of 1.225 billion people worldwide, right? And they've also launched a styling wizard. Obviously, everyone wants to stand out, right? So we have a styling wizard on Google Maps, which lets the developer customize the colors, roads, labels, more on the maps, right? And in addition to that, high point of interest, remove landscape, free up your space, themes. You can change that, highlight the routes, change the style of the maps, anything and everything that can enhance the that can be more user friendly, and it's focused on customers perspective, how they want to use, get a feedback, right? And then obviously provide them a better customer experience. More efficient operations, I think this is something that you would be interested in. Now, with the new features, we know that things are happening on the roads, right? In the neighborhoods, cities, they have a big impact on the efficiency of your operations, especially if you're operating on fleet of vehicles. I mean, I know some of you would be able to connect with me on that. Now, we have a real-time traffic on maps for quite some time now. Everyone knows that. And it continues to get more and more proactive by letting the drivers and dispatchers know about the upcoming disruptions or alternate routes when an accident or a traffic jam crops up. Think about it. If you're a fleet driver, and if you have to reach a specific point A to point B in a specific time duration, there is a time limit to it. And how amazing would that be if you can anticipate the route which you can take, so that you can avoid those areas which have a traffic jam, and you can still achieve the duration from point A to point B, or the distance from point A to point B in that ETA that you have already anticipated, right? Now, recently also adding the local events on the map, which is particularly focused on the on local events. Say, for example, recently Ganpati went by, right? We knew how Mumbai was, and it's like the your fleet can route if there is a marathon going on or there is a holiday parade. Ganpati, right? As I said, as an example, all of this can really help you out in making the operations more flexible and efficient at the same time. You can do the analysis beforehand. That's what I mean. Um, I quickly want to jump up on the real-time accuracy of the data. Like, why Google Maps? For obvious reasons. We have the most real-time and accurate data. And one of the key of its popular Google Map customer experience with over 1 billion monthly members, and our Android ecosystem with over 2 billion monthly active devices around the world. And I won't be wrong in saying that all of these people and devices, along with the leading technology, drive over 25 million updates every day to the data. It's that robust. And then we have people all across, right? As I said before as well, we have the richest places data, which also leverages on the consumer apps, right? We have 60 million of local guides around the world who adds over 20 million contributions per day, like reviews, star ratings, photographs, uh, and obviously it can go over and over. And to this places data, you can actually count on the accuracy, because it's not Google or Lepton who's providing the data. It's actually coming from the users who have experienced this before, right? And then places includes the rich data, location, names, addresses, ratings, reviews, contact information, atmosphere, helping the users explore the world around them. Again, better customer experience, right? And I won't be wrong when I said when I say it's a global coverage. Most of the country's territory. So Google actually says that it's 99% coverage of the world, built with reliable, comprehensive data for over 200 countries and territories. And the roads, the route spans for 40 million miles of the road that they have covered. And Well, when we talk about places, over 150 million places with 700,000 new places added every month. They speak more languages, around 70. It supports 74 languages. So obviously, not everyone wants to talk in English, Hindi, French, right? There are other languages available. So they support 74 languages around the world. And it's scalable, right? It's not stuck to a certain point. So for example, if you have built an application with the Google infrastructure, you can scale from a prototype to a production to a planet scale without having to think about capacity or reliability or performance for that matter. I mean, it's secure and it's high performance. Think about it. Google is running on the same infrastructure that they would be offering you. And I don't think I have to sell you on how Google search engine would actually work, right? It's actually the fastest by far. Which brings me over here. Now, as you can see that there are many reasons why Google Map platform offers the leading location intelligence platform. And probably this is the reason why 70% of the Fortune 500s and thousands of emerging and innovative startups use Google Map platform. But the real thing is, I'm sure half of you or maybe all of you might be thinking that it's pretty clear that Google and Lepton are investing in and committed to the space like no one else, right? We're all over, and we try to give our clients what they ask for. But the real question is, do we really need Google Map platform? And if we do, how will it benefit us, right? So let's go a little bit further on the trend of happening on your industry, right? And see some of the examples. Now, location, we've talked about this earlier, that how digital universe is expanding. And with more and more data being produced every single day, virtually all of this data has a location attached to it. And businesses needs these tools to make sense out of these new data trends. To tap into these new data insights, company need to utilize location intelligence, right? Being able to track, report, analyze, drive insights is essential for any business, not just for survival, but so they can become a disruptor in the industry. If you have more customers, if you can provide that user experience that the customer is looking for, if you can make your rider more productive by having them one extra delivery in the expected time, or probably cut short the time by 15 minutes, right? That's being productive, and as well as extra revenue for you, right? Okay, there's my next screen. Okay, sorry about that. Now, providing a better customer experience, right? Now, I quickly just wanted to give you an example. Real estate companies like Trulia and Redfin, right? I'm sure you would have heard about it. They use GMP or Google Map platform to enable users to visualize neighborhood characteristics, right? Like crime and commute times. Well, see the real world views of the homes and the surrounding neighborhoods. And then if I have to quote an example for a ride sharing company like Lyft, they use Google Map platform to connect drivers and drivers simply and conveniently to make the experience delightful from beginning to end, right? The customer can track down the entire information. It's pretty easy to add on to, like, I mean, we've all used Ola and Uber. We know how easy is it to just put a point to that location that you want to get picked on or dropped off, right? The address can get picked up on the autocomplete. All those APIs are really amazing, which can help you give your users a really amazing experience. At the same time, it saves you a lot of time, right? So that the driver doesn't deviate. It's more productive. You can pick up more rides, if I may. Another quick example is how can the operations be more efficient, right? So to optimize a company's operations, I just want to quote a few examples over here as well. Like I recently came across a financial servicing company like Standard Charter Bank, right? They use Google Map platform to significantly reduce the cost by reducing expensive calls to customer service. Every time you pick up your phone and you dial that customer service number, it's a cost to the company, right? It's a cost to you, it's a cost to the company. But here's what they did. They actually reduced the cost. And how did it do that is by visualizing for the customers where their transaction took place and enabling them to see the name of the business and the real image of the storefront. This can actually result in millions of dollars in cost savings. I mean, okay, let me put it across in a very simple term. You have a receipt, okay? Every time you swipe your card or you make a transaction, you get a receipt. Now that receipt probably would come. I mean, obviously at that time you still know, but on your statement, when you're reconciling your statement, you see that them as the legal name of the company, and then you don't recognize where the transaction was made. Now this is where Standard Charter used GMP. They used it to convert it to the not to the legal name but to the selling name of the company, where it provided an amazing experience. It gives the location of where the transaction was made. Well, that saved a lot of cost to the customer service, right? A very simple but a very effective method. And then we've also beginning to predict what traffic or movements might be like under the different real world conditions in the future as well. So to help our customer optimize and route their vehicles better based on changing conditions of the world. Now there are like, without quoting the name of the companies, there are logistic customers who are asking us to help us with the questions like, can I optimize the route and plan it in such a way that I save 15 minutes of rider's time and yet he delivers one extra package? And the next one that I could think of is that, can I guarantee a 30-minute food delivery window to a customer when there is an IPL match happening between Mumbai and Chennai on a Friday night? Well, real life scenario, right? And these are the discussions, these are the strategic discussions that we're actually getting into to make the companies or our clients more efficient. The operations become more efficient for them. We're also engaging in strategic decision making. So again, insurance companies like ICICI use GMP to create a risk map to understand where the policyholders are and to moderate risk management scenarios, right? In less than 6 weeks, they were able to overlay policyholders' information with flood areas, weather reports, other geodata to help them make better decisions about their business. Take an example from Mumbai Dharavi, for that matter. There is this Kala Killa, if I quote it correct. I don't know if all of you would be aware of that or not, but everyone knows Dharavi, right? So Kala Killa is another. So think about it, that ICICI would actually do like a heat map, or would be able to do the analysis beforehand if they want to pick up that a policy holder from that particular location or not. And if they want to, how they want to. I mean, it's like a future prediction that they have done, right? And we've also seen a lot of businesses asking the real world questions that they either don't have answers to, or probably need to spend heavily on the physical infrastructure to answer. And this is where our understanding of how world moves can help influence commercial decisions in the physical world. As an example, we're working with major cities that traditionally have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on putting things like putting sensors on the road, sending surveys about the traffic, commuting patterns, and then we've actually helped them use the real-time traffic data, machine learning, predictive analysis to help make urban planning decision in easier, faster, and more accurate and far less expensive ways. I mean, money is the actual crust of it, right? And just one example, and that's just one example of how rich data can really drive real change in the world companies. With that, I quickly want to go to the product. So there are 3 core products for GMP: maps, routes, places. Maps, obviously, that bring the real world to the users with customized maps. Routes, well, best way to get from A to Z, not just A to B, but A to Z, with comprehensive data and real-time traffic. And then places helps you discover the world with rich location, with over 150 million places, right? Let's talk about it a little bit, I think. So maps, though, as I said, the world is constantly changing, right? Every day businesses open and close. New roads open, go under construction, or get renamed, and building gets created or torn down. Just think about how many roadworks are happening in your city as of today, or how many new developments are going up, and then multiply that on a global scale. See what I'm saying? Our world is constantly changing, which means our maps also need to constantly change to accurately reflect the world around us. And those changes needs to be updated across the magnitude of devices that we use on a daily basis. Google Map constantly improve with over 25 million updates each day. Just to give you a little bit of calculation or a context to it, that's 289 updates every second of entire day. Now, these updates come from more than 1,000 authoritative sources, including public, commercial mapping, satellite, aerial, crowdsourced, Android devices around the globe, and millions of users and local guides. And ultimately, that means with maps, you can confidently build better user experience and rich and highly accurate dynamic mapping and location and image data. Now, just want to share this case study for Allstate. Allstate happens to be a pretty large insurance provider. Now, it started off as an auto insurance provider, but it also offers like home, motorcycle, RVs, etc. Now, the biggest challenge that Allstate was that they wanted to build a tool incorporating local maps, showing consumers innovative ways to protect their homes. You know what I mean, right? When you get a home insurance and there is well, God forbid, but if there is a calamity, the insurance company has to shed like tons and tons of money just to save them, right? So not saying that Allstate doesn't want to pay that amount, but they're just taking a risk mitigation if they can, right? So they actually wanted to build a tool incorporating local maps and showing consumer innovative ways to protect their homes in order to position themselves as a clear leader, right? Now, Allstate used Google Maps APIs to create Good Home. That was the name of the application. So a map that visualizes customers' home with location specific information about common and costly claims, and additional features such as geolocation, real-time weather animation, address autocomplete capability, city population statistics, and they also specialize. They also tried giving tips to people help protect their homes. So this is something that they actually build on using Google Maps APIs, which actually resulted pretty big. So the visitors who used Good Home tool is over 350% more likely to get a quote because they're spending that much time, right? 40% of people who uses the tool type in more than one address just to check if the data is accurate or not, right? And on average, people stay on the site for 6 to 7 minutes. That's like generating traffic and interest at the same time. So this is what Allstate did. Now, did my screen went? Okay, sorry. Routes. We already know the cloud technology has enabled disruptive new business models across industries. And one of the most well-known ride sharing, which has emerged thanks to the explosion of connected devices and the integration of the location data with cloud technology. It's an example of how new business models are challenging traditional systems by moving people from place to place faster and cheaper, right? We're actually talking about 3.3 billion ride sharing sector is set to double in the size between 2015 2020, right? Well, we're slightly behind on the data, but then yes, that's the actual thing. The addressable market for the new delivery platform will grow for more than 23 billion by 2025. I think I've already shared that before. With routes, you can actually create efficient route with lower cost, improve customer experience, using real-time and predictive traffic models. You can plan trips up to 25 waypoints with up-to-date data on distances between points, suggested routes, estimated times. You can optimize your workforce, where keeping your workforce moving even during the rush hours. You think about it from a perspective, if you have a fleet and real-time traffic conditions. And at the same time, you can even monitor the exact location of the vehicle, and that too at a real-time basis. Depends on how you want to fire the API. Reliable directions. Well, definitely Google Maps provide reliable directions anywhere in the world with the same route details, quality of service, and optimization. I've already said that the Google Maps have covered over 40 million miles of roads with over 200 countries and territories. And okay, sorry about that. So when you actually build on same infrastructure that serve billion of Google Map users and deliver over 800 million routes a day, you can count on the platform, right? From I mean, that will scale and flex as you want. The API is for routes enable businesses to provide users the best way to, as I said, the best way to get from A to Z with high quality directions and real time traffic updates. This is the location data at its richest and most intuitive. Now, we're actually a quick example over here. We're actually working with one of a really big last mile delivery companies, and their major challenge is to optimize the route in the most effective manner, which means they want to be better at their algorithm so that so the delivery rider can deliver more orders in a less calculated time. I think I gave that example before as well. Not only that, the rider can also effectively pick up return orders. Everyone talks about delivering order. No one talks about the return, right? That's equally important, I think. So they thought about it, and needless to say that it's not only saving them time and cost, but making the rider more productive, which would actually enhance the customer experience. Quick checkup on Fleet Minder, one of another customers for Google Maps, who's into fleet maintenance and workshop management. Um, Fleet Minder wanted a simple and intuitive way to visualize location as all fleet in its in the Fleet Minder GPS devices, and with the help of Google Maps, they were actually able to generate a real time and easy to report monitoring conditions, and then the dispatchers and the fleet manager use the platform to monitor and report on all vehicles with updates on the current location, speed, various vehicle attributes. That actually resulted in 50% decrease in efficiency driving thanks to map-based fleet management solution, 25% reduction in employee overtime. That's a cost saved. And then 20% reduction in the incorrect deliveries. Well, moving forward, I want to jump on quickly on places. Well, over the last 10 years, Indian retail industry has experienced a meteoric growth. The country had listed 1 million retail stores in 2008, which has now increased to over 12 million stores in 2019. And think about it, how rapidly it's actually growing, right? And we need those places on the maps. We need to know where our business stands, right? If you have a store and if you want to locate a store, you probably had like 5 stores in 2005, and now it's like over 500. And you want to map out that stores and the location of those stores, right? So that your riders can pick up your warehouses, distance from the retail store to the warehouse. Think about it. There are n number of possibilities where the places can actually help you out on. It can, with places, you can provide users data on the location, names, addresses, ratings, reviews. I think I've already said that before. There's 700,000 new places of Google every month. So you can actually count on the accuracy and reliable information. Well, and the details is over 150 million places and point of interest that can actually help your user find or track customers with reviews, and even detect fraud, right? With the help of ratings. And then it's really powerful on the location detection capabilities, right? Return the precise location of the device based on the Wi-Fi or cell towers, and identify the place based on the real-time signals like time of day or user location, and then and return a time zone for any location as well. So this is pretty interesting, actually. We've all used this. I don't think how many of you, actually analyzed this before, but I'm pretty sure when I'm going to talk about it, you're going to think about it. So Places makes it easier for the user to enter a correct billing and shipment information, right? By automatically suggesting addresses as they type. That's by using the autocomplete feature. I know we've all used that. I mean, some of the e-commerce site, right? And if we are typing the address, it's more likely if our address or a location is picked up by either a geolocation or with the address type, we're more likely to spend more time and finish the cart. That's the analysis that's been done. With the APIs for Places, businesses are enabled to help user discover the world with rich location data for over 150 million places, right? And then we want to show you the kind of data that Google platform is working on practicing, right? A quick checkup on Harley Davidson, right? One of another Google Map users. So Harley Davidson, we all know. I don't need to, I think, give you any kind of introduction for Harley Davidson. But then the challenge was that Harley Davidson rides set out to create a mobile application and a web app to help its rider plan and share trips while also identifying essential resources like gas stations, hotels, and other attraction on their route. I don't know about everyone, but I have made several trips to Ladakh, I think. Well, earlier, not as of now. But then the point is that we all need to figure out that those locations, right? We want to figure out the gas stations. We all know, if you have been to that route, you would know what I'm talking about. There are very less gas stations, and with Google Maps, you can actually tap into it and keep a tab of it, right? That's the user experience. So what Harley Davidson did, they had a planner website, right, where rider can build their route using Google Maps. Choose the kind of road they favor. The site would call out for relevant places you might want to visit. After the rider builds the trip, they can use the iOS or Android app to display the map routes and get turn-by-turn directions, right? And then the members of the Harley owner group plan rides for as many as 500 people. That's a lot, right? Who would follow the route on the mobile applications. The app also tie into the mobile device GPS system for navigation, which actually resulted in 3,000 plus app downloads per month. Millions of riders planned the map-based website planner, and rider can plan, save, share, display their routes, be safe, right? With that, I want to show you what are we looking ahead, right? What's the plan to go ahead? Now, we've talked about IoT devices. Now, tracking where your IoT device asset tracking where your IoT devices assets are. I think that's the most common problem that spans multiple industries, right? Whether you make pet tracking devices or smart vending machines, knowing where your assets can dramatically change your profitability model, right? Now, the asset tracking solution serves IoT companies today, and we're closely working with other to push the boundaries of what a comprehensive IoT solution can do. I know there's this. Just to give you a real crazy example of a company in Inevo. right? Inevo is a provider of waste and recycling system. Now, what they do is the challenge. What they came up with was they had the recycling bins, right? They had the recycling bins all across the place, and with the IoT devices set up on their recycling bins, they were able to track when the bins are full. They put a sensor to it, so they actually check when the bins are full and when they need to be, emptied. Uh, so it actually, with the help of Google Maps APIs, they were able to develop like a wireless smart sensor, right? Place of trash, recycling bins to measure the level of the content, right? Safer city, cleaner city, and definitely, helps the users to go forward. With that, logistics is an amazing thing, right? Everyone talks about logistics. It's going crazy right now. So that's like a complete different challenge altogether. So it takes the IoT devices tracking challenge and adds on even more complexity because your assets are constantly moving, and knowing in real time how your people and goods are moving is a critical input to the efficiency to the efficient supply chain. And not to mention that many trucks, boats, and at time motorcycles that you need to route to right places at the right time. And then many customers are already using our core solution to help navigate the world with the real time information. Right. A quick example over here: DPD, an international parcel delivery. The 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 challenge was that DPD wanted to build their own software to plot package drop-off locations on the DPD websites, right? And then the application worked with digital maps, but the company was dissatisfied with the cost and the usability of the tool. So they wanted to improve the parcel delivery experience, provide recipients with various delivery options, and then transparency and flexibility of the delivery process, right? So what they did with the help of Google Maps APIs, they they introduced a new service, live tracking for deliveries. How many companies do that, right? Now this tracking feature is one of the most used service on the DPD website. Now they can actually see the arrival estimate, accuracy within the 30 minutes, redirect the package if needed. I mean, if you're staying in a society, for example, and your house is near to like gate 2, you can let the rider know that you want to come at gate 2, where he should be actually reaching gate 1, right? And then calling you. So it's like saving time, redirecting the package, so you actually know how that actually would work, right? And then the location insights, right? Beyond logistics, the insights data model on the real world can help the companies with strategic business decisions. When we talk about our customers, we learn that their real appetite for insight based on real world data, right? Just to throw a quick example of Trulia, right? Trulia wanted its maps to do just more than identify a property location. It sets out the map as a canvas, right? And lets you tell the story of even the property on its site. Not just where is it, but what's the neighborhood, how safe is it, the quality of school, how long does it take to commute from work, and more. And with the help of Google Maps API, our the Trulia user experience has completely enhanced, right? They allow home buyers to search for and browse more properties, explore neighborhoods, jumpstart their home buying process. And instead to list like a crime strategic statistics, Trulia displays a color coded heat map, right? Where users can look around the city or the town they explore and compare neighborhoods. No, I don't think I have to list down the benefits. If someone is actually coming on Trulia website, it's likely to end up buying, right? Or at least getting a quote. With that, I want to show you that Lepton has been working with a lot of clients in this domain in several industries. And just to give you a little bit of introduction, who are we? We're Lepton Software. We actually are a leader in location intelligence and analytics, and we've been there in the market for more than 25 years. We've served over 8 industries like FMCG, retail, automotive, telecom, banking, logistics, and we have over 200 data analysts, data engineers, GIS specialists. We actually specialize in that, and we are the largest and the oldest Google Maps partners in India. And I know I went a little overboard, but thank you so much for that. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Varun, for the wonderful presentation. Uh, Now I would request my audience to type in their questions and queries. We already have a lot of questions there in the Q&A window, and we actually apologize for extending this session, but this was so informative that we did not feel that we could drop off any of the content that was there. It was important. So now I would request Varun to start quickly with the questions that have already been asked, and so that we can wrap up this session as soon as possible. Also,
Awesome.
I would just request the audience, if you have any questions and queries, you can, after the session, you can write to us on the email ID mentioned, that is marketing@leptonsoftware.com, or call us directly. We will align you with the technical team. Varun, you can take over the questions which have been already asked.
Awesome. Thanks, Mansuav. Okay, so well, I'm getting a lot of questions. How do we compare Google with here, Map My India? Well, honestly, here's what I want to say. I know that I'm really not getting into that comparison mode as of now. Okay, so all I really want to say is that with Google, I know the kind of data that Google comes up with. Definitely, there is no one even close to it as of now. Especially when we talk about places data, or how we route, how we track down the entire. And I'm just going to talk about India as of now, right? Because I think most of you are catering to India as a territory, right? So the way Google Maps actually captures the entire data, there is this amazing functionality that Google has done, and I think most of you would have used it, which is called plus codes, right? If you know what I mean, you see on your mobile application, and when you're or trying to pinpoint a specific location, there's this blue dot which is constantly there, right? That blue dot is called plus codes, and that has gone to like a building level, right? So that is the accuracy of the data that I'm talking about. And when Google Maps says that, then when I say it's 99% accurate, obviously no one can tell you that we've covered the entire Earth. That is practically not possible. But when I'm saying 99% available, I'm pretty confident about that. I think that would answer the question: how can we compare it with here and Map My India? Google Maps update frequency. Okay, so it's updated every second, as I said. I think 283 updates every second is the update. So it keeps on updating, okay, and it just doesn't get updated on the basis of the data that we are getting, from Google. There are various other sources where Google would actually get the data, the real-time data. There are people who would keep on updating. There are GPS devices, the mobile phone, the operators. Think about it, your cell phone, right? They're all smartphones and the GPS enabled phones, right? So if you're actually going on a specific location, we are looking at the data, right? You are sharing that data. And by the way, I checked, that's not a privacy if you allow it. That's not a privacy concern if you allow it. So yeah. Okay, so there's this question. Okay, so one of the big use case in my kind of business is that customer books an order on the website to be delivered to someone else because he's putting the address of the other party, and the system might or might not read the address the way it reads it if you select your own address or provide location to your home. How can Google Maps help? Okay, amazing question. I think this would get into a little bit of technical discussion, but yeah, that can be done using the Google Maps APIs, because we've all known that we all know that I mean the world is sitting at home, right? I know if we actually want to gift something to someone, or if we want to order something for a friend, a relative, right? It has to be done through the digital experience right now. Now, adding the address over there for a person, the maps sometimes do not pick up the specific location or the address. Now Google Maps can help you over here. So all I can say is this can get into a little bit of technical, but then all I can say is this can definitely help over here. Google Maps can get it done for you, which is actually going to improve the customer experience as well. And obviously the customer would be satisfied when they are booking for someone else and not for them. Okay, for example, if I have an order to be delivered to a friend in Delhi, okay, I think that's the same thing, right? I'll put his address and the way he told me, how can Google Map read the address, exact location? So Google Map actually translate the lat longs into addresses and vice versa, right? So it captures that. As I said, plus code is an amazing benefit. Plus code can actually go to like a building level. As I said that, it's not just a street level or a road level; it's actually the building level, right? And you know, we still stay in that era, and I know everyone has experienced this. If you actually have to tell someone, you know, your place where you're staying, and also you sometimes guide people. Okay, wo people ke ped ke piche is my place, right? Plus codes avoids that. I couldn't be more clear than that. You don't have to tell someone that you stay people ke ped ke piche. Now, how Google Maps help you? There's another one. How Google Maps helps me to give better experience to place order for someone. Okay. I think I've already taken that. How can we integrate a Google Map platform? Okay. So I didn't completely understand the question. Integrate the Google Map platform. Obviously, they're the APIs, and the APIs would get integrated into your application. Now, application can be built on the APIs itself, or if you want to change the source codes and you want to use the key, you can use the key. So again, kind of a technical discussion. If you might want to give us, a call or a write up on what exactly are you looking for, probably can help us understand a little more. Is it something as pay as you go, paid per attempt, for example? Okay, so yeah, the pricing model is my apologies. The agenda was never to cover the pricing model over here, but I should have, I think. Sorry about that. So yeah, so Google Map platform is pay as you go model. So the number of hits on the API is what you consume in a particular month, you pay for that. If you don't consume, obviously the invoice is never raised. Simple as that. And on top of it, Google Maps do provide you, we do give you like $200 worth of monthly credit, which is free of cost using the APIs. And then once you cross that threshold, that's where the billing or the consumption starts. Excuse me. I believe integration is through an API or set of APIs provided by Google. Yes, that is correct. It's the Google Maps APIs. Okay. What techno is used to avoid internet latency? Okay, how do we calculate latency difference between specific devices, Google Map platform, how to optimize and enhance performance? Okay, so just to give you a quick a context over here, I think we all have used Google, right? So the Google Map platform is actually built on the Google the infrastructure that Google itself uses. So latency, I think the stat speaks for itself, that Google is by far the fastest and provides the latest provides the least latency. Now, just to give you an example, 2019 Google was the lowest, which gave the entire, I think the entire year latency was less than 16 minutes, if you know what I mean. Now, how to optimize the and enhance performance? Obviously, that's again a specific discussion that we would have to get into, how we can optimize. But just to give you a context, how your APIs have been firing till now versus how we can help you in optimize. So that's Lepton, right? So Lepton technicals team will be able to help you in looking at the, even if you don't want to share the source code, that's perfectly okay. So we can still look at it, and we can tell you how you're using the APIs as of now, and by using our expertise, we can tell you on what we can do on improving the hits on the APIs. Just to give you an example, we can put a So I know we were working on an optimization session with one of my clients the day before yesterday, if I think. Um, they wanted to reduce the number of API hits that were firing unnecessarily, because what they did, the customer lands on the web app or a mobile app, and the first thing that they do is actually hit the fire the API hit, the Google Maps API, right? Now the thing is, if you actually if you ask me, that's pretty simple, but it's really not, right? It becomes a little more complicated, because you have to have the user experience in place, and at the same time you got to reduce the API hits. So now, rather than firing the API hits directly, what they did is, what we suggested them was to put a layer in between, where they would give out a specific details of what they want to look for, and then the APIs would get hit. I mean, that's the kind of optimization that I'm talking about, and that's just one specific example. Is there an API for Android? I mean, from Google Map Platform direct integration. So API, mobile devices, and web app both are available. So yes. Places API or distance API restriction with limit to use per user. Okay, because few hackers wants to play with this, making the billing high. How can we Google Maps help in this? Okay, I would need more context on this. So if you could help me, after the session, if you could just give a quick write up, we can probably take a look at it. Why sometimes car is moving, but the marking is red, which means traffic? I didn't get the question, honestly. Why sometimes car is moving, but the marking is red, which means traffic? Okay. Yeah, I honestly did not get the question. When navigating, why does Google Maps still not tell us clearly whether to take the flyover or not? Okay, yeah. So, well, there are. So you're still using. So I would tell you this. The free version of the app has certain things which still needs to improve on, and as I said, we are constantly improving. I didn't say we were the best. I mean, I am telling you we are the best as compared to the industry, but we're not at the mark, what the bench that we have set, right? So we're still improving. We're still taking that, and I know what you're talking about. Sometimes I have missed the flyovers, so I won't deny the fact. Okay, will I get to know the building height on Google Maps for given specific lat long? Depends. Okay. So I think building heights is something that, so yeah, you can, but the thing is, if so, again, this is going to be a little bit deviating from the topic, but then say, for example, if there is a satellite imagery who's actually taking that image of that building, right? So you would be able to analyze the height of the building, but then at the same time, or there's a plane who's going by who's taking those images, right? Now, or analyzing the height, the depth over there. But say, for example, if the satellite position has changed the next time, so it might just look at it at a different angle altogether. So yes, it can take the building height, but at the same time, it might be changing. So there might be a little bit of discrepancy, because the satellite would keep on shifting from point A to point B, right, when they're taking those images constantly. Okay. Can we draw routes according to multiple business available on Android devices? Do we have APIs for this? A little more context on this, but yes, we can. Just to give you your answer. I think that was last of it.
Okay, I think yes, Varun, we have already exceeded the session now by
Yeah,
more than 30 minutes. So, any more questions, audience, if you have, we will take it offline. We will now proceed and close the session for the day. So, again, I would like to thank you, and I would like to apologize for extending this session to 1 hour from the scheduled time of 30 minutes. But the content and the topic was so intriguing that we could not miss on any of the content that has been shown in this session. So thank you all for bearing with us and patiently waiting for this session to complete. And I hope it has been an insightful one for you. And I would like to thank Varun for the wonderful presentation and taking up all the questions that have been asked in this session. So we will go ahead and close the session for today. Any more queries, please do feel free to write to us at marketing@chepkinsoftware.com or call us on the number that is provided, and we will be happy to assist you in that case. So thank you and have a great day ahead. Goodbye and stay safe. Thank you.